Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat petang, very good evening. And I think this is a last slot for the pocket talk today. So not further ado, my name is Aliff bin Musa from Intellectual Property Malaysia Intellectual Property Corporation, or MIPO. So before that, we already listen to all the industrial players. Now this is from the government sides, which is the conduct or relating pertaining about the intellectual property or IP. So this is what we call it in Malaysia practice, which is if you've seen in the slide in front of you is a Copyright Act, Malaysian Copyright Act 1987. So existing the Copyright Act in Malaysia is around 1987, and the last amended of this legal document is around 2012. So this is all the new provisions regarding the what we call it the also the approach for in the new digital era, because nowadays before this we are what we call it in the practicing of the hard copy, like all of you, which is from the publishers, writers and authors. And the practice before this is that you are produce what we call it hard copy, or magazines, comics, and which is related to the documentation. But now there is what we call it a new digital era, or the new world regarding the digital. So if you noted about the e-books, e-journal, the e-article, so this is what we call it a platform for the new digital era. So in Copyright Act 1987 also, we included the protection in the digital. So if you noted, there is a technology protection measures, a TPM, right management information, or RMI, which is RMI is nowadays many parties are involved on that, which is the infringer or the party are altered the original authors. So in the digital books, if you noted, many people or many parties, they are what we call it upload the certain contents, and then they said that they do that kind of the content, but it's wrong, because in the digital era is a right management information, which is you are altered the original works from the right authors. So other than that is a TPM. TPM is a technology protection measures, which is if what we call it like other parties circumvent. If the very what we call it the very basic that if you want to know is like, if already in Malaysia they have a Astro, right? So Astro have a security code. So if the other party have circumvent that kind of code, which is they are hijack the transaction of the transmission, so this kind of what we call it the offences is under the technology protection measures. So they have the offences there in the Malaysian copyright law. So also we noted also, and recently all the what we call it a protection, we in Malaysia already covered for the traditional way and for the digital way. So but we what we call it, we don't know how to channel it, because in copyright there is a voluntary basis, you know, right? Because if you have a patent, you have an invention, you need to get the patent granted. Also have a trademark, you need a gazetted for that logos. But we also know that in the Berne Convention, because the copyright is related to the Berne Convention. So in the Berne Convention, they are voluntary basis. So every people know that the copyright is a voluntary basis, which is no need to register. But in Malaysia, if you noted there is a voluntary notification system, which is all the writers, all the authors, all the owners can protect their copyright content via the copyright voluntary notification system there, right? So this is what we call it MIPO introduced, the new protection for the author and the owner, which is all of you can submit your copyright work or your copyright content to the MIPO to deposit in this kind of system. So because before this, the writers and the owners are used for what we call it a statutory declaration or stat dec, to what we call it to prove that he or she is a original author or the owner. So that's why in the section 26A we introduce the voluntary notification system, which is this kind of the platform you can use as a prima facie evidence, right? Which is you can extract what page are the people infringe your copyright works. So you can use that kind of extraction. You can use because that kind of extraction is a certified true copy by copyright controller, which is in MIPO. So you can use that kind of the documentation. The extraction is a prima facie evidence in the court, right? So upon that, anything that regarding about the protection in Malaysia, that everything that you want to know, still understand? Because copyright or other element of IP is a dry subject. So if we already noted that we have the patent, trademark, copyright, industrial design, and what we call it, another part is layout circuits. So in Malaysia have all the element of the IP, but because the copyright which is we need to control that. It's not a weak protection for the copyright, but we need to know how to control the rights, because in the copyright they have what we call it the exclusive right. In the exclusive right, under the exclusive right, they have many rights content there, which is economic right. We have the moral rights. We have the what we call it legal rights there. So that's why in the copyright matters is what we call it is very close with the bind agreement. It's like you do regarding about the authors and the publishers. So you need what we call it a very formatting legal document regarding about the agreement. Anything they want to know, that you want to understand, to raise a question? Is it okay? Right? So I think this is a very brief about the Malaysian Copyright Act. So if anything that you want to know about how we monitor, because in MIPO we already receive the application for the protections, and for the we also have a conduct for the commercialization, because in MIPO we already introduced the IP marketplace, which is the Miss Esterwi already told before before the IPR marketplace. And also we have the what we call it the IP valuations, because nowadays, if I'm not mistaken, we have around the 23rd or 25th IP valuer, that the certified IP valuer that can value your content, your what we call it your IPs, right? So this is what we call it the MIPO introduced for secure and for the commercialization, also to monetize your IP intellectual property works, right? If there is no other question regarding about the protection in Malaysia, so we will end of I will end of this kind of IP pocket talk. Thank you very much.